What's up, everybody? This is Kieran Reese, otherwise known as the Obsessive Compulsive Gamer, the O.C.G, and I'm here with my friend, Alice! Ooh! I'm gonna turn the audio slightly down, just make sure that people can hear you. I mean, the audio in the game. No, it's just like sometimes, you know, when you play a game and it gets loud, you can't fucking hear what you're saying. Okay, that should be good. Okay, so the quality looks good. Okay, because sometimes I've like when I was streaming it looked fine, and then I went back and watched the stream and it had all kinds of breakup and choppiness. You know what I'm saying? It is really annoying because some like in one of the streams I had my bitrate too high and I had to turn it down. Basically ruined the whole stream because it was so breakup you couldn't see it, but I couldn't tell until after it was done. Yeah. Well, this is a really hard game. Most of what Shinji Mikami makes are hard games. Then again, I have played the shit out of this game numerous times, so... Like, anyway, Shinji Mikami is the guy who made Resident Evil. He was the director of the first game, the second game, and Resident Evil 4. So, like, all the best games in the series, he was behind. You see what I'm saying? Well, Resident Evil 4 actually led to him breaking away from the company. Because... Oh, man, I'm gonna get into a little bit of rant here, but... Okay... Shinji Mikami was really big friends with the higher-ups who worked at Nintendo, right? And he promised them that Resident Evil would be exclusive to GameCube. And at the time, Capcom gave him the okay, so it wasn't like he was speaking around his ass. And that's why we got, you know, Resident Evil Remake 1 and Resident Evil 0 was originally GameCube exclusives as part of that deal. Okay, and he also worked with them to do something called the Capcom 5, which was 5 games that were supposed to be GameCube exclusive. Like, he was really big on supporting GameCube. Well, they were talking about, you know, making Resident Evil 4 on PS2. And he was like, no, I gave them my word Resident Evil 4 would be GameCube exclusive. He even joked about committing Bushido, fucking, you know, chopping his own head off, because it would be dishonorable. And unfortunately, Capcom went behind his back and put Resident Evil 4 on PlayStation 2. And that pissed him off so badly that he left the company. Because he gave his word. He promised Nintendo. And not only that, but, you know, the Capcom 5 were supposed to be, you know, GameCube exclusives, 5 GameCube exclusives. Only one of those games ever stayed on GameCube. The rest, Capcom also brought to PS2. So they not only fucked him over on Resident Evil, but they also fucked him over on, you know, like 4 of the other games that were supposed to be exclusive that he was involved in. So, in their hunt for money, they kind of pushed him away. And that's actually, I love Capcom. That was a fucking mistake. Shinji Mikami is one of the best parts of that entire company. I mean, he's what made Resident Evil what it is. Like, he directed it, and he was the one who decided the gameplay mechanics. Like, he's a large part of what made it great to begin with. And then Resident Evil 4, I don't know if you knew this, but Resident Evil 4 had like 4 different versions. Really, they stopped and they got like made it, then had to restart it 4 different times.
I remember like the first version of it, I guess. There was like a problem with it. And so people had to wait for the new version to come out to be able to play it. Because my sibling had a hard time finishing that game because there's this one point in the game that gets glitched really bad and you can't pass that point in the game. I think it's like close to the end, I think.
Huh. I wouldn't know about that, but that's not even what I'm talking about. That's like a bug. I'm talking about they started to make Resident Evil 4, then they didn't like the direction, and they scrapped it and started it again.
Okay.
And each time they spent millions of dollars, so they wasted, like, Resident Evil 4 was what you would consider development hell. Actually, here's a fun fact. You know Devil May Cry? Actually started out as Resident Evil 4. Like, really, it started out as Resident Evil 4. And, because, Devil May Cry, the original game came out in 2000. It was like, an early PS2 title. And they were like, let's do a castle. And then they started to feel like we're getting too far away from Resident Evil. But they were like, man, this game is really good, though. So it was like, how about we just make this its own series? And that was okay because, well, Devil May Cry was fucking awesome. But if you look at Dante, you can really see the resemblance to Leon because he was originally supposed to be Leon.
Right, the hair.
And the attitude, the cheesy jokes.
Yeah.
And the castle, it's classic Resident Evil themes. Like, you can see a lot of where, oh, hey, I can see where this kind of originally was Resident Evil.
Like Spencer Mansion and everything.
Yeah, exactly. But they made the right call because it wouldn't have been a good Resident Evil game, but they're like, hey, let's make this a series, and, Devil May Cry is fucking awesome. The rest is history.
Yeah.
But, like, literally 3 other times they started it, and then they stopped it, and it wasn't, like, in the conception phase. They got most of the way through. So Capcom almost gave up on Resident Evil because they're like, we've wasted, like, 2 games worth of budget, and you haven't even released this game. And so Shinji Mikami had actually taken a break from the series, and as a last-ditch effort, they begged him. They said, will you come back and save this game? The guys who you left in charge of the studio cannot finish this fucking game. And he finished it, and, I mean, look, Resident Evil 4 is considered to be one of the greatest games ever made, ever. And that's why he was so pissed off, and he ultimately left Capcom, because, I mean, he basically came out of retirement to make Resident Evil 4. He promised it was an exclusive, and then they fucked him and made it not exclusive, and they didn't tell him that they were going to do that. So he had no idea until he heard about it. That made him look like an asshole. And Japanese people are very, very anal about their honor.
Yeah.
But after he left, he...
Like they give to other people.
Yeah, exactly. He gave his word to Nintendo.
Very, very.
Yeah, So it really upset him. He left Capcom, and he was like, well, I don't want to retire from a game, and so he made his own studio, and he made The Evil Within. So The Evil Within and The Evil Within 2 are very much his successor to Resident Evil that he would have made. And you can tell that, the influences.
No.
Yeah.
No, this is not happening.
Yeah. Only the first Evil Within is kind of flawed. Like, getting into another. I'm sorry. I'm. I get into a fucking rant because I just. Yeah. But basically, I'm sorry. What'd you say? No, I thought about it. Yeah, I turned down a little bit more so I can make sure I hear you. No, it's not. It's not that you're too low. It's that the game is too loud.
Damn it.
There we go. No, I was saying, The Evil Within 1 is one of the scariest games I've ever played.
Where are you?
Fuck it, I'm gonna go on a slight tangent here for 1 second. Just bear with me. Because playing the game is ultimately less important to me than just talking to you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, well, then we can just stop.
Well, I also wanted to get it recorded for the channel, get good content. I like having my friends on when I'm streaming. You know what I'm saying? You keep it mixed up.
Okay.
But no, I'll get into the game. I just wanted to go on one more tangent real quick. Evil Within is a great fucking game. It is super duper scary. Okay, it may be one of the scariest games I've ever played. It's fucking terrifying. But the problem is that it has a lot of flaws and a lot of problems with the engine. And I'm trying to gloss over this so I don't talk to you all fucking day because I can rant about this shit for hours. But basically, they used id Tech 5. id Tech 5 is an engine that was designed to run at 60 frames per second on console. Back then, it was unheard of. You would get a PC port to console and it would run like shit. But Rage was John Carmack, who's a tech wizard, saying, I want a game that runs at 60 FPS on console. And it made certain sacrifices to achieve that, but it was a game that looked fucking awesome and ran silky smooth when most games ran like shit. Like, I mean, PS3 and 360 had a lot of games that had terrible frame rates. Like, you could tell in that generation they were really focused more on the graphics than the frame rate, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They would push the graphics even if it meant the game was like 15 frames a second and was chugging horribly. And during that time, Rage was 60 FPS, but the people who made The Evil Within took that engine and they tried to do things with it the engine wasn't meant to do. And they weren't like knowledgeable in the engine, you know, to alter it enough. So The Evil Within had terrible fucking frame rate problems. Like, fucking awful. Like, Evil Within, the original Evil Within came out almost near the launch of the PS4, actually. Like, it came out within the first year, like 2014. So it was an early PS4 title. It was on PS3 and PS4, 360 and Xbox One. And at its heart, it was a game made for PS3 and 360. But even on PS4, you know, which technically should run it no problem because, you know, it was like a system that was a generation ahead of what it was designed for. The game would routinely get down to like 15 frames a second. On an engine that was designed to play almost always at 60, the game spent the majority of the time under 20. Like, it had fucking technical issues. And I hate to say that because the story is good. It's super fucking scary. Like I said, it might be the scariest game I've ever played. But technically speaking, you could tell they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. And that's why a lot of people have trouble getting into The Evil Within 1 because it runs like horse shit. And it didn't even look that good. Like, it wasn't a very pretty game either, so it didn't look very good and it didn't run very good.
Right.
I mean, it had a great art style, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, the textures and stuff, it looked bad by the years. It looked shitty by 2014 standards, is what I'm trying to say. It didn't even look good when it came out.
Right.
Most people put up with that because it's such a great game, but still. But they took that to heart for this game, and they actually made a brand new engine just for this game, and the difference is night and day. This game runs like a fucking dream.
Yeah, it's okay.
Right, yeah, no, on PS5, which I'm playing it, lock 60. So we went from couldn't even reach 20, and we had shit graphics, to great graphics running at 60. Like, because they realized that they didn't know what they were doing, so they reached out to people who did. Do you see the difference that it makes? But yeah, that's what I was trying to say is, The Evil Within 2 is not as scary. Like, it's still scary, right?
Yeah.
But it's a much better game overall. Like, it's not as scary, but I like it more because the whole game is better designed. They really listened to the feedback and the issues that people had. And yeah, that's the whole point.
Developer teams do that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
They get better for it.
Exactly. Like, this game came out in 2017, and I think it still looks really good for when it came out. That was 5 years ago, and it still looks good.
How did this happen?
Whereas The Evil Within 1 came out, and it immediately looked dated. And yeah.
Just hold on.
And there's actually more to it. You'll see. This isn't even the good parts. Like, it's cool. Also, one of the things this game does that I absolutely fucking adore. This game has open world horror segments. This is the only game I've ever played that tries to do horror in an open world. It's fucking awesome.
Damn it, where is she?
Because
Can you, like, miss stuff?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Can you miss things?
Oh, yeah, no.
So,
Yeah, you can totally miss things, okay? What it's like, and I love this, right? The maps are not that, there's 2 maps that are open. Like, the whole game isn't open. But there's 2 chapters that are really open. But the maps are tiny by today's standards, you know what I mean? But they are packed full of scares in every corner of the map. Like, the map is super dense, and they have these optional events that only happen when you go into the certain region. So even though you're in an open world, there's spooky shit around every corner. It's fucking awesome, and you can miss most of it. In fact, at one point there's actually this entire villain, right? That you only encounter by doing a side quest, and she pops up during the rest of the game, and you can miss her.
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you'd start a side quest with her, and then she, like, invades your game and pops up in the rest of the main story. It's fucking cool.
Come on out. Lily, where are you? I'm here. Dad's here.
You weren't here for me, Dad.
I also really like this voice actor that plays him. His name is Sebastian Castellanos. The guy that plays him is Robin Eckendowes. He's played in a lot of games I really like. In a lot of animes, weirdly. Although that's honestly not that weird. Like, I've seen a lot of people do animes and then go into video game work. It's like almost like a related field.
Yeah, because in both instances, you're playing a character that you don't really get to see. You kind of build it off your own imagination, and they go from there.
It's been a long time.
No, exactly.
Kind of the
Yeah.
situation.
Years. I've been trying to track you down for 3 years.
And you thought you'd find me at the
Because all
bottom
they're
of an
really
empty
given is
bottle.
the script.
Is that it?
Yeah, exactly.
And why are you here?
Although
now?
that's changing now.
Because they didn't want you to.
True, because more video games are having
You knew what was going
Like
to
actual.
live action captures.
Yeah, exactly. Like actual, they get on a set and they put dots on their face and they actually have to act out the scenes.
So now the voice actors need
What happened
voice
is in the
actors.
past.
Yeah. It's also created like a weird dichotomy
just like that psychologist force shoved down my throat.
where
He didn't have answers.
originally you didn't have to look like the character you're portraying, but now you kind of do.
Tell me
Yeah, it's weird.
about
Because they capture your face and the way it moves, and if your face doesn't match up with the character, it's fucking weird. Actually, believe it or not, slight mini tangent, but in Metal Gear Solid 5, they really pissed off people because they switched actors. The entire rest of the series, Big Boss and Solid Snake were played by David Hayter. And David Hayter. They replaced David Hayter in Metal Gear Solid 5, and fans were upset that they explained in Metal Gear Solid 5 they were using extensive facial capture technology, so the person they picked had to not only sound like Big Boss, but had to look like Big Boss, and David Hayter looked nothing like Big Boss. So it pissed off a lot of people, but it had a reason. And they picked Kiefer Sutherland. So if you're gonna pick a fucking replacement, man, I don't even know if you know.
I'm here because of
You know who Kiefer Sutherland is, right?
I'll have to look it up. I don't keep track of voice actors.
Have you seen? No, he's a movie actor. Have you seen Lost Boys?
No,
Have you seen 24?
no.
Have you seen Mirrors? It's a horror movie.
No.
I mean, he's a
Let me look it up.
he's a really famous actor. Like he's
How do you spell the name?
what? Oh,
Spell it.
Kiefer, Kiefer, and then the rest will pop up.
Okay. Alright. Oh, he's actually a producer and a director as well.
I mean, he's done everything, but people know him as an actor. He's been an actor for a long time. He's really popular. But he looks like
Okay. Does look familiar.
he's been in a lot of fucking movies, like big ones. So yeah, but he looks like Big Boss, and doesn't just sound like him. That's why they picked him.
Where did you
Oh, he
get
was in
this?
Monsters vs. Aliens? As a
Lily
what?
is still alive.
Lily is dead! I read the police report! I was at her funeral!
We can rewrite history if we want to. Staging a death is child's play. Why would I come out of the shadows just to lie to you? Lily is alive, and she's with us. But she's in danger. We need you to help save her.
Save her? What have you done to her?
Trying to find a
Get
movie
your
that
hands
looks
off
familiar,
me.
but
I was hoping you'd come willingly, Sebastian. But we don't have time for this bullshit. We need you. Lily needs you.
This game has a really good story, it really does. Okay, so just giving you a brief rundown of the plot from the first game, they made something called STEM. It allowed people to experience their dreams, and it was supposed to be something really good, but they had this psychopath called Ruvik come in and fuck it up, because if you have a psychopath, they like take over the dream and ruin it for everybody. You know, like one bad apple.
yeah.
So you got trapped in STEM, and the whole first game is you trying to get out of STEM and get out of this nightmare. And you got out, and it originally seemed like your daughter died, and that was his backstory. But they reveal in this game that there was an evil corporation that funded the STEM. Okay,
Okay.
they didn't intend for it to get corrupted, but they are a shady organization. But either way, they took his daughter because she's a child with a pure innocent mind, so it works perfectly for the dream. Like, they need somebody at the center of the shared dream that's not corrupted. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And his daughter passed high on the tests. And it fucked up his marriage because they faked his daughter's death in a house fire.
Wow.
And his wife thought that she was alive, which she was, but he didn't know that. He thought she was still grieving. So his wife and them got into a huge fight, and she wound up leaving him because, she went to look after their daughter, but he just thought she couldn't let go. So he started drinking, he got suspended from the force, and then he gets thrown into STEM, like he had just come back out on the force after a suspension, and then he gets thrown into this living fucking nightmare. It's super traumatic.
Right.
Like, Ruvik was using it to torture people. Like, he could make anything happen. He was a murderer who could make his will reality in a dream.
Right.
And so then, as you see, they come and they're like, hey, no, we kidnapped your daughter, and she's not dead, but now somebody else has got her, and you need to come get her back. So he's kind of in a really fucked up place after this game.
You're awake.
What?
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Great.
That is kind of fucked up. You have
Where are we?
to get your daughter back.
Oh, yeah, no, seriously.
You're in one
Then
of
is
our
your daughter the
facilities.
same after
So
that?
this
You
is
get
the
a
almighty
dick.
Mobius, huh?
Careful about what you say.
His daughter is surprisingly resilient. They didn't really show her any of the violence and shit. She
So powerful they have to
didn't see most of it. They just took her, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
At least you're terrible.
And Kidman, she's complicated because she works with the organization, but she likes Sebastian, and she actually tried to help him and save his life in the original game. So she's is on the opposite side, but he also would be dead if it wasn't for her, so there's a lot of complicated shit there.
Packed.
Enough of this bullshit.
She also helped abduct his daughter, but she's also the one who's been making sure his daughter stayed safe. Yeah, but basically, big shadow organization has a dream tank, and it goes really fucking wrong.
An unfortunate setback. But we used the knowledge gained to build a new
So basically, she's kind of like the Ada Wong of this game.
STEM system.
Kind of. I can see that.
With my daughter.
Imagine
Working both sides.
millions of minds.
Only she had less of a choice, because they basically took her, Kidman, into the organization when she was an orphan, and they're like, you either join or you die. They didn't really give her a choice. Ada chose to be a spy.
This machine,
Right, of course.
miracle, will allow our species to
And this,
I don't know why.
Yeah, this corporation is really evil.
Needed to start with a mind.
Like they're I'm not even kidding. They're full evil. They're like full mustache twirly.
Was pure and clean enough
I
to
mean, they
support
have to be
thousands
to
of
have a psychopath in
personalities.
that machine.
Well, actually, they tried to avoid that because they didn't want that. They had like a psychiatrist screen everyone who went in, and somehow that's part of what you discover in the game is how they got past. But what I'm saying is basically they're like the fucking Illuminati. Anyone who gets in their way, they will kill.
You connected Lily to that machine?
Your daughter is quite special. The most stable core candidate we've ever tested.
Like, see, they don't even show his face out of the shadow.
Thanks to her, the new stem.
I mean, he's
was
evil.
a success.
I mean, look at him. He just looks like an evil fucker.
A little over a week ago, Lily vanished. Just stopped sending signals. Then the STEM environment began to collapse. We thought it was just a technical glitch, an easy fix, so we sent a team of Mobius agents inside. But then we lost contact.
And this game actually really plays around with the concept of reality because in the first game, you didn't know you were in STEM until like the end, right?
Yeah.
So certain things would happen, you'd be like, well, that's weird. And then at the end, it's like, oh, plot twist, you were in a dream. But it's not like a cop-out because all the shit in the dream really happened. All the people really died.
Right.
But in this game, you know you're in the dream, so they have all kinds of shit that should not happen, and they show you, like, it gets in his head, and you see stuff that should not happen in real life.
STEM.
Right.
And they have a lot of fun playing around with it. And this game is kind of different than the original game, because the original game is more grindhouse horror, like, let me put it like this. Have you played Silent Hill?
No, but I've seen parts of it.
You've seen parts of it, okay. So you know how Silent Hill is about, like, getting inside the person's head.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of it is the character's personal trauma and the shit that they're dealing with.
The sins they've lived bigger.
Yeah, okay. So, in The Evil Within 1, it was kind of like a grindhouse horror movie, you know, like, dirty and gory.
Yeah.
This one is more like Silent Hill, where it's psychological terror, because Stem starts to play with his mind and make him see his regrets and shit.
Providing you an
Yeah.
opportunity.
Okay.
But I like that kind of shit, and it means this game isn't just a copy of the first game. It does its own thing.
Something you thought you failed to do before.
And I think more people need to play this game. This game kind of flew under the radar. And this is one of the best horror games I've ever played. I want, more people can play this game. I'm all fucking for it.
It's your choice.
Like I said, of all the horror games I've ever seen, no horror game has ever done open world horror. I've never seen it attempted before, and this game fucking nails it because it's almost like a choose your scare, because it's not like I'm gonna run around the open world, I'm not gonna be scared, and then I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna get scared. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, it's not even an open world in the sense that I can just run wherever. There are enemies patrolling the streets that will fucking kill you. You're not safe at any point in the open world. So it's more like a bunch of, like, they took this map and they filled it with all these little scares that you can stumble upon or not.
Right.
And I fucking love that because it feels like around every corner something wants to kill you and you're finding new shit.
With any team members you might find in there. I know you don't trust us.
Now that you mentioned Silent Hill, and now I'm just thinking about that trucker guy that used to throw teams.
Fine by myself.
Just remember to call me.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Now that you mentioned Silent Hill, I'm thinking of the one with the trucker
Yeah, Silent Hill Origins.
The moment you find Lily,
where you could throw
so that we can
TVs.
begin the
Yeah, you can just bash people shit. Thank you for watching, I appreciate you.
here for you.
That was actually a really good game.
I will smash this ghost.
And someone else.
Well, they're not ghosts, they're actual physical creatures, but yeah, I get your point, like, hey, you could grab like an IV stand at a hospital and just bash them with a fucking fluid container.
Yep, pretty much.
But that game actually was originally on PSP, and graphically, for PSP, holy shit, that looked good. See, I actually think PSP might be my favorite handheld of all time ever. Because, I mean, think about it. Everybody tried to make a competitor, right? to the DS and Game Boy. You know, Nintendo basically ruled portables for like 2 decades. You know what I'm saying? Nobody could even compete.
Right.
And Nintendo, unfortunately, likes to stay away from M-rated games. They always go for more child-related stuff. And I mean, that's fine, but a lot of people want to play adult games. And then Sony,
Yeah.
and you know, Nintendo never goes hard on the graphics. All the graphics in Nintendo are kind of eh.
Yeah, they're pretty simple.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo puts care into it, but graphics are never the priority. But Sony comes out with the PSP, and they're smart as fuck. They're like, hey, let's do a handheld with mature, M-rated games. Like, you never would have seen an M-rated game on fucking DS. You know, Silent Hill.
I think that Nintendo wanted to be a gaming platform specifically made for kids,
Yeah.
so they're the family friendly, I guess, gaming console.
Yeah. And whereas Nintendo went for simple graphics, Sony went for really advanced graphics. Like, the DS, for example, right? Had like 1 MB of RAM. It had the same processing power as the 64, which at the time was the best handheld Nintendo had ever done. The PSP had the 32 megabytes of RAM, so it was literally 32 more times powerful than the DS. And it went for PS2 graphics, so it was literally a generation ahead. See, fucking water floating around. Just weird, trippy shit. But I really loved, you know, the PSP. And then Sony really put their best foot forward, man, and they came out with so many good fucking games for PSP. Kingdom Hearts got one of the best entries in the whole series on PSP. Silent Hill got a game on PSP. They made God of War on PSP that was fucking awesome. They did Jak and Daxter on PSP. They did a Ratchet and Clank game on PSP. Like, Sony really was like, oh, we have a setting, put it on fucking PSP. Like, they tried. They realized that if they were going to compete with Nintendo, they better bring something hard, because Nintendo had a monopoly on handhelds for like 2 decades. And I just...
Not everyone's gonna make it handheld.
Yeah, exactly. So they're like, we're not going to win on Nintendo's turf, so let's do something different. And it's just awesome.
Our little girl is gone.
No. I'll never accept it. You won't help me. I'll find out the truth on my own.
What the hell is this place?
I have so many fond memories of the DS. I played the shit out of the DS when I was a kid.
I never got a DS. I just had the Game Boy XP.
Oh yeah, I also had that. It was really good.
Yeah. But that's the only handheld I ever got. Nothing.
Yeah,
I guess because consoles got more and more expensive, and the games were always constantly like $60 when they came out.
yeah,
There are photos
So
of a bunch of Moby.
just keeping up with console was, you know.
yeah.
I don't ever remember.
Well, when I was a kid, I used to mainly play handheld because my parents would be, you know, doing whatever. Who's a good kitty? You's a good kitty.
Projector. Where did my memory dig this up?
I love you.
Elementary school?
I forget, does this have a name?
I think so later. I don't forget what the cat's name is. I'm just kind of skipping some of those sequences so I can get into it and show you more of the game.
Kidman, you there?
Yeah, who's your good kitty? Yeah. I have a thing for cats. I'm a cat person.
Thanks, Kitty. A mirror. Just like Beacon. Should be a way out.
Thank you, Katie.
Why couldn't my memory just make
Yeah, that cat actually is a manifestation of Kidman in Sebastian's mind. So like the cat is actually there to help him, like it there.
into the looking glass?
What's your
Yeah, but every time you get these slides as you explore the world, and every time you get one, the cat gives you another gift. Yeah, skip it forward. I'm just trying to get more into the good stuff so you can see what I'm talking about. Like, this game has a really, really great artistic direction.
Is this the right place?
And originally the game was only in third person, but later on they added a mode that made it first person. Like, you could toggle it. I kind of, in a lot of ways, prefer first person for horror. I just feel like it puts you in the character's shoes more. You know what I'm saying? It's more immersive. I feel like
Yeah,
that's
like
what horror's
your
about.
experience in the game, not the character's experience.
Yeah,
It's all
precisely.
about perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Like, see what I mean? Like, the art direction of this game is really good.
What the hell?
Yeah, this guy takes photographs of people when they die and they replay it over and over again.
The search team.
Okay.
Baker.
It's actually kind of cool when it's so horrifying, you know?
Yeah.
And he has the thing for art and like old art shit, so it's like it has like a 60s aesthetic. But I'm saying, look at this. Like, that looks great.
If you were studying forensics, this would be actually useful.
To a certain point, I don't think somebody's mastered time magic yet
Someone
in
trying to find
crime.
the way out. Or in.
I couldn't do forensics, dude. I couldn't spend all day fucking mauling over dead bodies. I appreciate all the people that do. I could never do it.
Definitely a tough job.
But I'm saying, like, this game is 5 years old, man, and it looks really good. It's such a beautiful aesthetic. You know what I'm saying?
They even get the wallpaper right.
Yeah, exactly. It looks all grimy and shit. But, like, this looks genuinely fucking creepy.
Hello? Shit. Who was that?
Oh, that's right. I can't go that way yet. And it's really immersive playing this in first person, and I like it. I mean, it's good in third person as well. I just, like I said, I'll usually switch it up back and forth. I just really like first person when it comes to horror. I remember back in the day there were people who was trying to say that Resident Evil 7 wasn't Resident Evil because it was in first person. I'm like, fuck off. Resident Evil 7 was more Resident Evil than a lot of the third person ones.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, you have these velvety drapes, man. It's just great. It's great aesthetic.
I like how they have them run in too.
Shit.
You like how they what?
How he ran in.
Yeah.
Like that looks very natural.
Yeah.
Like he was actually trying to skid to turn around.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's all kinds of weird, trippy shit.
I gotta find a way out of here.
And now we were just here a little bit ago in this lobby, and now we come back and it's all fucked up. I mean, that is just, that's gorgeous. Like, the lighting, the pendulum, it's just, for a game that's 5 years old, it has aged really well. Yeah, I just personally, like I said, I feel like, for the most part, the first person suits this game better. I mean, that's downright artistic. Take a picture of that, actually. Oh, doll head. That's not creepy at all.
Thanks for the warning. Oh, wait, that's a mannequin, not a doll.
I mean, a mannequin is, yeah.
When I think doll, I think of the creepy ones all dressed up. Big reflective eyes.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. See, he's into some weird shit. Rebirth. Yeah. And you're actually, here in a bit, you're actually going to get real Silent Hill vibes. But it's done in a good way, and
Rusty elevator.
yeah. It's done in a good way, though. Like, the shit that pays homage to Silent Hill is not done in a shit way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not overly rusty like Silent Hill is sometimes.
Yeah, see, look at this. This is some shit.
Yeah.
Just wait. This game plays around with optical illusions. You see an eye, and then suddenly the room is different when you turn around. And then it's different again. See, this game plays around with perspective in a way I haven't really seen a horror game do before. It's cool. Yeah, hold on. This scene is better in third person. Oh, look, it's a photo of me. Cool.
What the hell?
Oh, he's like, oh, shit.
Oh, the flip again.
Shit. I'm trapped in here. God damn it. What the hell is that thing?
I was like that you can turn your light on and off. I like it when games do that.
I don't hear it.
I mean, this game, like, the red, the hues, it just looks good, dude.
Okay.
You okay? Wait. What?
I'm sleepy.
Oh, you can just go then. I mean, it's okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold you up while you're doing whatever.
Okay.
Oh, hold on.
I mean, I've probably been up more than 14 hours. Yeah, I should probably sleep.
Okay, well, I'll just stop the broadcast.